What's up, goodies? Welcome back to your girl channel and to my kitchen, how to cook. If you are here watching me cooking for your first time, be sure you subscribe and turn on your post notification settings. And if you're my returning goodie, big up on yourself every time. Straight.
I used to a star girl, hey, she fit me, and she give me love plenty, yeah, she authentic, this are the real thing, this are the...
Okay, goodie, let's jump right into this cheap seafood boil that you requested, and this is volume 2 of volume 1. Now I'm going to talk about the shrimp. The shrimp that I'm using here is the tiger shrimp, and this is exactly about 2.5 pounds of tiger shrimp. These are uncooked, and I have to clean these up because they are not clean, but they're pretty big. You can always change these shrimp up of your choice, but we're gonna make this seafood boil cheap. We're gonna make this seafood boil fast, easy, and we're gonna make it simple. So that is the shrimp of my choice right there. Now, I'm gonna use this corn right here. It was the hardest thing to find, that corn in the supermarket. I couldn't find it nowhere, but I found it in Kroger's. I also am going to be using my garlic, and this is the garlic of my choice. I'm using the minced garlic. And I'm also going to go in with these sausages right here. Them sausages taste so good. These are beef sausages, and I bought these at the farmer's market. So we're going to use a couple of these sausages as well, and you could always switch them up for chicken, pork, whatever you like. Now I'm not going to put too much potatoes in it. We're just using 3 small potatoes because we're making the seafood boil fast, easy, and simple, and cheap too. Now in addition to that, I love eggs, so I'm going to add some eggs, and I'm going to be using an extra large onion. Now this onion are really big, so if you want to use 2 is fine. I'm going with some lemon as well, 2 sticks of butter, right? Butter make it better. And we are going to be adding our sugar. I'm using dark brown sugar. Now spices are garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, parsley, dried parsley, seafood seasoning. I'm gonna combine the seafood seasoning with the Old Bay seasoning right here. But you could, if you don't have that seafood seasoning, just use the Old Bay. But I'm gonna use the 2 of them there today. I'm also gonna use some crushed red pepper, cayenne pepper, or pepper seasoning. You can substitute that out as well. And I'm definitely going to be using 1 can of that tomato paste. It's a small can, and I did buy that in my Aldi supermarket. Now what else I'm going to be adding? I'm adding some grounded ginger to it, salt, definitely my apple cider vinegar, because you know how me feel about that, right? Apple cider vinegar is a must for me. And so that covers that right there. We're going to make this really quick, right? So make sure you're ready for the ride, and let's go with it. Alright, now the first thing that I did was clean my shrimp. I did use cold water to get it all cleaned up, but I am going to show you how to clean your shrimp thoroughly. So I like to use scissors when I'm doing this, especially this is a big size shrimp, so I go in with my scissors. Look for the lining, which is right on top of the shrimp right there, and cut it, go straight down. And as you can see, there's a lining right there, like a dark line. I use that as a guide to give it a perfect slit, so that way everything comes up when I go down like that. As you can see right here, right in the middle right there, so that's where you want to get up. So you could use your hands if it comes up easy, but to get it out in one piece, I always use the scissors, the end of the scissors, and pull it up just like that. It comes right out. Okay, you want to make sure so you clean your shrimp, because you don't want to cook yucky, you know, shrimp. No, make sure you clean your shrimp really good before you cook it. Make sure that clean up the shrimp real nice, right? Now I'm going to show you again how to clean up the shrimp again. One more time. Now you get your scissors, because the scissors is easier to do it than the knife can. There's a line right there, is a guide. That's what I use to make sure that I'm getting it perfect. Open it up right there and just use the end of the scissors to help me to bring it up. Sometimes when you cut it, it comes right up, but sometimes you need a like assistant. So you use either your knife or your scissors to see it comes right up, and just pull it right out. Comes right out. And that's it. So you clean the shrimp, right? Easy, simple, something that, boo. Clean up your shrimp. Clean up your shrimp, goodie. Now, with the cold water, I'm going to go ahead and give that a really good rinse, making sure that it's nice and clean. Then what I'm going to do next, I'm going to add some vinegar. You could use white vinegar, apple cider vinegar, anything that you have at hand. And I'm going to add some lemon juice. Now you could also add your fresh lemon right here, but I'm not going to use my fresh lemon. I'm just using my lemon juice, and I'm going to allow it to sit for about 30 minutes. Now, okay, good. Moving right along, in a pot, we're going to season this water before we add anything to it. So to season it up, I'm going to add some all-purpose seasoning. And then to the all-purpose seasoning, I'm going to add a little bit of that Old Bay seasoning, because we want to get this water season this water to let it have flavor for the potatoes and stuff. So we're gonna add some of that seafood seasoning to it as well, and that's it. I'm not gonna add anything else, just a little bit of flavor I need to make sure that corn and the potatoes and the sausage have flavor before I add it to anything else, right? So now we just go ahead and put those into that seasoned water, right? Just put the corn in, and I did add the sausage and the potatoes. Anything that you want to put into your seafood boil, you go ahead and you put it in. Just about anything, but be sure you always give that water a little bit of flavor before you put anything to it, okay? We got that right, good? Yes, we'll get this thing right the first time. Alright, so if you're still here watching me cooking, boo, make sure that you will subscribe to the channel. If you have not, go ahead and do so, and turn on the post notification, because you don't want to miss nothing. And I'm always go check it, boo. Now that is what we have after about I'd say 15-20 minutes. The potatoes are cooked. We turn the heat off, we'll set it aside and make it chill and wait for the next step, because the next step are gonna be fast, easy and simple. So here all the things set. This is what we're gonna do. Now in a duchy, my duchy, I'm going to add those 2 sticks of butter. Whether you want to use salted butter or unsalted butter, any kind of butter that you want to use, you go ahead and use it, but I'm using 2 sticks of butter here. Now to that butter, I did add a lot of garlic, because garlic in seafood, anything seafood, is the bomb.com. Garlic, more garlic on seafood, the better it's going to taste. So I added a whole lot. Then I added the tomato paste to it, and that tomato paste that I put in, I bought it at the Aldi supermarket, and I am going to use the entire can. It's a pretty small can, right? That's all. So I'm going to just go ahead and just use the entire can to it, right? Kick it up with some flavor, boo. Flavor we are chat about in our Jamaican kitchen. Now, after I did that, it was very simple. All I did was go ahead and give it a really good combination, and my fire right here is on medium heat. Do not put it on high heat, because you don't want it to cook too fast. You make it simmer, like simmer really slow. It's going to give it more flavor. It's going to cook better when you put it on medium heat. So we go ahead and make sure that tomato paste is dissolved. Now we're going to flavor up this thing. So I added just a little bit of salt, then the onion powder to the mix, and then after I added the onion powder, I went in with the garlic powder as a combination of the two. Now after I put the garlic powder and onion powder in, it was time to give it more flavor. So I used the seafood season and the Old Bay season, both of them, to give it tons and tons of flavor. But we're talking flavor on this shrimp seafood boil, cheap seafood boil. Now I did go in with the cayenne pepper, Not too spicy, I don't want it. Just a little bit of that thing. Just with a little tangy flavor and a little bit of the crushed red pepper. Just a little bit. Just a pinch, maybe a teaspoon if that much. And just throw it on up in there. I did use my Grace all-purpose seasoning because that's the brand that I like. But you could always substitute it out for whatever it is that you like. And paprika. Paprika is a must-have. So I did go in with a whole lot of the paprika. The girl. Paprika. It was a lot. And then the ground ginger powder. Just put a little bit of that in there as well to balance everything out and give it a nice little gingery flavor to it as well. Of course, you know me now could not without my vinegar, boo. So apple cider vinegar it was. I just went ahead and just put it all up in there because it was all done. Finish it whole thing. And so after I did that, I went in with my brown cane sugar. Pour that up in there. Of course, we're gonna have to have parsley. And so the more parsley you put in your seafood bowl is the better it's going to look and taste though. Yes, boo. Now give it a good combination mix just like this. You want everything to come together nicely and your fire is still on medium heat here. Now what I did here, I did go in and add some of my homemade broth or stock or whatever you want to call it. Now you could also add chicken stock, beef stock, vegetable stock, whatever it is that you have, but do not add water to it because it's going to take away from the flavor. So just go ahead and just put it in there. Even if you want to use some of that broth from the corn and the potatoes that you used to boil that in, you could add it in there because that water has flavor in it, so you could add it in there. But I did use some vegetable stock that I have and I make at home. I always make them from a vegan recipe and all them thing there. So I went ahead and added a cup of that to it. Gave it a good mix, and as you can see, it was looking good, it was smelling good, and it was exactly how I want it to be. I don't want it to long and watery and lanky, but want it to have a nice little hold to it, okay? Nice little hold to it. So after I did that, it was time to move on to my next step. So I went ahead and added the onions to it, and as you can see here, my onions are pretty large. You could cut them up smaller if you want. It don't really make a difference on the size that you want, right? So I just went ahead and just put them all up in there, and I'm going to allow the onions to cook for about 5 minutes. 5 minutes, that's all I needed, was 5 minutes. My fire still up on medium heat, 5 minutes. So all they're going to do is throw them onions up in there and cover it up and give it 5 minutes only. Only, boo, only, because we don't want to overcook these onions. You want to be able to see them on your seafood when you are basically eating it. All right, so the thing said, and all the amount for everything that I'm using here, I'm going to write them down in the description box, so check it out. It's going to be there. Now 5 minutes later, I'm gonna come back. Everything was all together. The onions was perfect. It wasn't overcooked. It was just right how I wanted it. As you can see here, perfect. Okay, perfect. Let me not joke. Perfect. Now we are going to add the shrimp into that goodness right there, but you only want to put the shrimp in and allow it to cook for only 2 minutes before you do nothing else. So once you start putting your shrimp in, as you can see, it's nicely bubbling. You put all the shrimp in and you're going to let it mix up and blend up only for 2 minutes after you put it in, because honey, we do not need rubbery shrimp. Okay, so be sure that you're following this step carefully, boo, carefully, because I don't want to say, oh, if I cook, I cannot have rubbery shrimp in and no, boo, not in the kitchen here. So once you start putting them shrimp in, you give it a nice little mix for that 2 minutes. That's all you need, 2 minutes. All right, only. Now if you're still here watching me cooking this recipe, make sure you subscribe to my second channel, Life is Juliana. That link will also be down in the description box, so go over there and check that out. All your vegan recipe and all the other rare things that I'm put up on them things that will be over there. So go ahead and subscribe. Show some love, man. You know me, I say love up. We can't do without that, right? So the thing said straight. Now after only 2 minutes of doing all of this right here, so it's time to move on to the next step. So you go ahead and you put your corn and your sausage and whatever else it is that you decide to put in your seafood, you go ahead and put it in here, because remember, these things are already cooked prior, seasoned in that water, so we don't need to overcook or to recook anything. It's already cooked nice and tender. All you're doing here is combining everything together and give it extra added flavor with that good up gravy we have in the pot there with the shrimp and all of that. That's all you are doing here. Alright, goodie, we're almost done, and your girl, I walk you through this thing step by step by step, so that way you won't get it wrong, you know, you'll get it right this time around. So now there's only one more thing left to do, and we are going to finish up with this cheap seafood boil recipe. Now after you spin it around like this for about 4 minutes, once you add the corn and the potatoes and the sausage and all the other good stuff, you're going to go in and add the eggs. The eggs is if you like eggs in yours. If not, you just continue spinning for that additional 6 minutes. But because I wanted egg in this one, I went ahead and put it in the last 2 minutes of cooking. Now what I did though, I did go in with 1 lemon and just squeeze that fresh lemon. If you don't have fresh lemon, just use lemon juice, it's just fine, or lime, that's even good too. Just squeeze it all over the top of your seafood. That is the last 2 minutes of cooking, right? With your fire still on medium heat. Then I went in and added the parsley, because your girl extra. Just add a little bit of parsley to make it pretty, and then I did go with a little bit of paprika to make it even more pretty and fancy. And of course I gave it a tad bit, just a little bit, not much, of the seafood season on top, and I was done. That was completed. It was done. It was finished. It was done. It was fast. It was easy, and it was simple. And when your girl finished everything, I saw the thing set right there. So it don't get any better than this. Fast, easy, and simple seafood boil at home in no time. In no time. Tasteful in no time. Anybody can do this, right? I hope you get it right this time. Good. No more questions on this one, because this one is simple and easy and filled with flavor to follow. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Shazam. Perfect. Perfect. Now, goodie, this recipe right here is a recipe that you have to try. Try this one. If you get the first one wrong, try this one. I did have it with some french fries because it was requested, but we did have it with some french fries, honey. When your girl put it on the plate, it was even better. It was smelling so good. The aroma that was coming up from all the spices that I put in there, the onions, that gravy wasn't telling no lie. It was spectacular. Like I always say, spectacular. Shizzle my nizzle, the thing was good. It was good. Now, if you are loving these recipes, be sure to give your girl a thumbs up, because it does help to get the videos out there. So give your girl a thumbs up for sure. If you like it, share it with a friend, share it on your social media. Then, when you get done doing all of that, kind of the girl not selfish with sharing, right? Sharing is caring. Then, tell me what you want to see me cooking next in my kitchen. And remember, as always, from my kitchen to your kitchen, enjoy!